Get ready for some drama, folks. We witness Michelle in the midst of an epic suitcase packing scene. But what's with all the over-the-top stuffing? Turns out, she's just had a massive blowout with her partner. The cause? He ate the last chocolate cookie, and Michelle is not amused. In a dramatic move, she leaves her engagement ring on the table and storms out, presumably for good. Now, we don't have the full story just yet. But we soon learn that Michelle's fiancé Ben had an argument with her earlier that day, and begs for her to come back when he gives her a phone call. He's apologizing for the cookie fiasco and trying to reason with her. But Michelle remains silent, hanging up the phone and continuing on her journey. At this point, we can only speculate as to where she's headed. Is she leaving Ben for good? Or maybe she's just off to stock up on some much-needed cookies. Either way, it's clear that this couple has some serious issues to work out. Maybe Michelle made the right choice, or maybe she's just a bit of a drama queen. Michelle pulls up outside a gas station in the middle of nowhere and it's pitch black outside. Keep in mind that it was as bright as day when she started her journey. How long was she traveling for? Assuming her fiancé isn't Liam Neeson or a complete psycho, I hardly doubt he would be able to track you down all the way out here. It must have been one special cookie, that's all I can say. While driving, Ben attempts to call back, but since Michelle is too busy looking at her phone, she gets hit by another car, sending her into trickshot mode. Sign this bad B up for FaZe Clan. Not to mention this crash makes zero sense because when the camera pans up there is no other car shown. The road doesn't appear to have any junctions either, so how would she have been hit off the road to the right? Maybe her fiancé sent a ghost to mess her up. Michelle wakes up feeling disoriented. It doesn't take her long to realize that she's been imprisoned in a tiny room made of cold, gray bricks. To make matters worse, she's tied to the wall with a brand new designer knee brace. But wait, there's a twist. Despite her dire situation, Michelle seems to be getting some level of care. There's an A4 line attached to her arm, suggesting that someone has been tending to her needs. Who could be keeping her captive and why? Michelle notices her belongings and sees her phone on top. She uses the IV pole to pull the bag towards her, and uses her phone to try and get connection with the outside world, but unfortunately there is no service. We hear a fee-fi-fo-fum, then enters a giant man with a big bum. He goes by the name of Howard, and he is the man keeping Michelle prisoner. Michelle's heart is pounding in her chest as she yields to the man who has been keeping her captive. She begs and pleads with him to let her go, but to her surprise, he brings her food and tidies up her fluid bag. He gives her some walking sticks, explaining that she won't be able to walk on her own since she's broken her leg. Michelle, now fearing becoming a bouncy ball sex toy, tries to warn him that her boyfriend is expecting her and will surely call the police, but the man shows no fear. He tells her that no one is coming for her, leaving her to wonder what kind of madness she's gotten herself into. He drops the keys to the handcuffs in front of her. The man leaves, locking the big metal door, keeping her trapped in the room. Michelle turns up the gears to get ready for a fight, unlocks herself and uses the key to make a weapon out of the walking stick. She stands flush to the wall and waits in anticipation for the man's return. Still waiting, she realizes she may be waiting a while as nothing has warranted a visit from her big bouncy friend. Michelle steps back and spots an air vent, getting a bright idea that isn't very bright in my opinion. She takes the bed sheets and wraps them around the walking stick and lights it on fire using one of the matches from her bag. She then places the burning sheet in the air vent, completely oblivious to the existence of smoke poisoning. Something about a concrete box full of smoke doesn't seem very clever to me. A fire alarm then goes off and Michelle gets ready to fight. When Howard enters the room, Michelle tries to attack him, but it doesn't prove to do much as he grabs her and sedates her, making her fall unconscious. Michelle awakes to find a plate of food in front of her and Howard sitting in a chair. He warns her not to attempt another escape and begins to call her ungrateful. Michelle, clearly confused by the accusation, continues to ask Howard questions, but he is purposefully vague. Howard explains that they are in the bunker of his farmhouse and won't be able to leave as there has been an attack on the country. Michelle, still doubting what's going on, plays along and asks to be taken to a hospital. Howard refuses and tells her she can't leave, and when Michelle asks to use the phone to call her family, Howard tells her that everyone is dead, without any explanation at all. Their conversation is cut short by a big bang, and it is revealed that there is another person trapped when Howard refers to him. Howard complains about the lack of Michelle's appreciation and leaves, locking the door behind. Michelle goes for a snooze once more and wakes to see that her door is open. Upon leaving the room, we are introduced to the man who made the loud noise, going by the name of Emmett. They are interrupted by Howard, who ushers them into his living quarters, where we can see a range of well-organized and diverse selections of cinema, entertainment, games and music. Even if Howard claims to be the person he is, It doesn't take away from the fact that he had a bunker fully prepared in emergency of a nuclear attack. That by itself makes him a psycho, or just some paranoid freak that is too dangerous to be around anyway. Howard continues to uphold his story and acts normal as if they are all roommates surviving underground. Michelle, still suspicious of Howard's story, prompts him to phone the police so that it can be proven for herself. Howard continues his story, telling her that there are no police and that everyone is dead. Alternatively, for proof, he takes Michelle to the exit of the bunker where she looks out a window to see 2 dead rotten pigs. Howard explains that the air is poisonous and what caused the pigs to die. However, Michelle notices his truck and gets a flashback to her car accident and realizes that Howard was the one who hit her off the road. Howard tells her that the door always kept sealed and no one is allowed in or out. The story continues to get more confusing as evidence for both conclusions keep piling up. We learn that Emmett was not kidnapped and was in fact contracted to work for Howard and help to build some of the survival bunker. Michelle calls BS and tells Emmett that he is being too gullible, and further explains that Howard kidnapped her. Emmett doesn't believe her and tells Michelle that he saw the attack himself while coming home from work, and as a result he came to Howard's bunker willingly. Emmett talks about coming to the bunker and fighting his way in as Howard was trying to close it, explaining the injury to his arm. They continue discussing conspiracies when they are peekabooed by Howard from behind. They all sit down for a lovely meal, where Howard continues to talk about a girl he named previously, going by the name of Megan. The way he talks about it makes it seem like post-traumatic stress from a dead daughter or wife, but it is unclear at this point. They all continue to talk, having normal conversations like a standard Tuesday in July, but Howard's freakish obsession continues to become more apparent when he talks about how he was prepared for the attack. Michelle starts to act like a quirky schoolgirl and it is soon revealed that Howard is in fact a psycho when he screams and gets angry for them talking. But that still doesn't confirm anything about the situation outside with Emmett's alibi. So maybe they are just stuck with a psycho in a post-apocalyptic world. How unlucky can you get? In the midst of all the arguing, Michelle managed to steal Howard's keys, and when he realizes, Michelle breaks a bottle over his head and runs away. She gets to the top of the stairs with Howard following closely behind. She manages to unlock the door and close it behind her, making it into the airlock, when she sees a car and begins screaming for help. From out of nowhere she is jump scared by a lady with a diseased-looking face who is begging to be let in. Either the attack was true, or this man has some crazy neighbors with bad skin care routines. In that moment Michelle loses all doubt and Howard tells her to come back inside. After returning inside, Howard admits to accidentally crashing into Michelle whilst panicking to get home quickly. This all still seems very suspicious, however, and it is hard to judge the truth of what is really happening. Howard seems to be very forgiving of what happened and gets Michelle to stitch him up. It is revealed that Megan was Howard's daughter and that the mother had divorced him and took the daughter with him. This further supports his psychotic behavior and explains a reason as to why he may be acting the way he is. The days pass by and they all get along like a jolly old family, eating together and playing games. One day they are chilling around the living quarters when the room starts to shake, and aircraft vehicles can be heard on the ground above. Flashing lights start to go off and Howard tells them that there is an issue with the air filtration system, which enables them to breathe. Howard asks Michelle to crawl through the air vent system so that she can restart it. When entering the filtration room she notices a ladder up to an alternative exit. Upon climbing it she is shocked to find the word help scratched onto the inside window, raising her suspicion and fear again once more. She panics and climbs down and manages to find a bloody earring after stepping on it. Michelle later tells Emmett that she thinks Howard killed Megan and shows him a photo of Megan that Howard had shown her previously. The earrings clearly match, however Emmett explains that the girl in the photo is a girl who went missing 2 years ago and was never found. Now we are back to the assumption that Howard is a psycho. Great. Emmett and Michelle devise a plan to make a radiation suit so that one of them can leave. Emmett steals some scissors and convinces Howard to dispose of the shower curtain, as it may have contamination from Michelle showering around it. Since Michelle is a dress designer she is able to make a radiation suit. Perfect plot hole filler. Howard comes to Michelle and explains that he needs her help with something. He takes her and Emmett to a barrel full of acid and reveals to them that he found the scissors and tape that was stolen. He immediately begins questioning them and starts getting really angry, explaining that the acid in the barrel can melt straight through humans. In the heat of the moment, Emmett owns up and takes responsibility himself, explaining that he planned on taking Howard's gun. Emmett apologizes, owning up to the stupid idea. Howard, being the understanding guy he is, forgives Emmett and they all go back to being a happy family playing charades.
I'm always watching!
Santa Claus! There's Santa Claus.
Yeah, Michelle, that's great.
Only joking. He pulls out a gun and shoots Emmett in the face. Yeah. Not good. Howard hugs and comforts Michelle, telling her that they are safe from the danger now. In retrospect, it's probably not a good excuse to tell someone you were planning on stealing their gun. Next time just tell him you wanted to do arts and crafts. Idiot. Howard resumes to cleaning up the mess, and we can see just how screwed Michelle is when Howard explains how he wants them to be a happy family. Bet she wishes she didn't leave her fiancé over that cookie right about now. She gets to work on her escape and starts assembling her radiation suit. She hears Howard coming and hides everything, putting the makeshift mask in the air vent. Howard comes into the room and one of the bolts fall on the ground. Since Michelle's hiding is very poor, Howard spots a part of the suit sticking out from below the mattress. He pulls her off and finds her suit. Michelle, now shitting bricks, darts out of the room and goes back into the bathroom to look for the keys or a weapon. Being the ultimate genius, Michelle knocks over the acid, causing Howard to fall over, melting in the acid while he kisses the floor. Michelle ninja warriors out of the room and gets her suit together. When she turns around she can see Howard blocking her path, but since Hess so fat she just knocks him over using the shelves. Michelle gets into the vent and makes her way to the ventilation room, with Howard stabbing holes in the vent like something out of Friday the 13th. Finally free of Howard, Michelle gears up into her suit, and uses some WD-40 to knock off the lock. Don't know how she risked her entire plan on using spray to break a lock. If the lock didn't break she would have just died from smoke poisoning. Michelle makes it outside and takes a moment to relax. We can then see birds and Michelle realizes that the air isn't poisonous at all. However, what does exist are aliens.
Come on.
My thought exactly. Shit just couldn't get any worse. She does some running, and hiding, and more running. Until she gets lifted in the air by a giant alien. Michelle manages to make a homemade Molotov cocktail and throw it in the beast's mouth, killing it. So far, she has managed to kill a psycho pedophile and an extraterrestrial alien all in the same movie.
Come on.
Michelle hops in a car and starts to drive away. The movie ends as she listens to the radio, where they talk the military fighting back and making progress. What a strange movie.
Come on.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and remember to turn on notifications to get the best rap cinema updates.